Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two Johnnie Walker brands. We have Johnnie Walker Red Label, the original, aged 3 years, the number one selling whiskey in the world. By appointment to Her Majesty the Queen, Scotch whiskey distillers. So this is a royal warrant. That means it's produced under a royal warrant and as one of the official whiskeys of the royal family. Talking about the royal family, today's the 50th anniversary of Ceylon, the Dominion of Ceylon, seceding from the royal family and declaring themselves the Republic of Sri Lanka with their own president, elected president. Anyway, the competitor is from 2010, introduced in 2010. It's Johnnie Walker Double Black, no age statement. The Johnnie Walker Black Label is aged 12 years. This is the no age statement, and they say it's a younger whiskey. Maxwell says, good morning, Ron. Good morning to you, Maxwell, in the Russian Federation. Craig Swinson says, good morning. Good morning to you, Craig, in New England. Okay, so it's going to be Johnnie Walker Black Label versus everybody else. And except for the Dimple Pinch, but already did that competition. Already did Dimple Pinch versus the Double Black and the Gold Label Reserve and the Johnnie Walker Red Label. So but the rest I haven't. And even Johnnie Walker Black Label has not gone up against the Gold, but that won't be any kind of contest. And this one could be tough because of the situation where these are both kind of smoky. So the Johnnie Walker Red Label is smoky and the Double Black is smoky. Maybe smokier, double the smoke, double the fun. I don't know. What I do know is that some people rag on Johnnie Walker Red Label like it's garbage. Like I hear people saying, oh, that's terrible stuff. Tastes like glue. Tastes like, all kind of other negative things. And I'm like, I've had it. I went through a whole 750 bottle. It never tasted like any of those off flavors people talk about. It tasted fine to me. How would it be the best-selling whiskey in the world if it tasted like all those nasty things people discuss or describe? You say, all marketing, all marketing. They only think they like it. They actually hate it. All right, it's kind of like Bud Light, number one selling whiskey in America. But that stuff's no good. Nobody likes it. Aside from the, tens of millions of people that drink it every day, but nobody likes it, I'm getting my KBS for my vertical, But anyway, it's the same with movies, beer, whiskey, wine, music. You got the snobs, if it's popular, then they say it's garbage, King Terry, a ruler of all beer and liquor reviews. Oh, thank you. I'm a self-appointed king. Good morning, Ron. Love me some Johnnie Walker, says BC's Beer Reviews. Oh, BC's Beer Reviews. Oh, I was watching the Beck's review. I can pass on Blue Label just on price. Yeah, I can understand that. I paid for it, but really, it's not. It has it worth $200 and some dollars. I caught you live. Cheers, Ronald. And it's 11:42 in the morning where you are, Gregory says. All right. Cheers to all you guys. They're both gold. So the appearance is the same. Johnnie Walker Red is a little bit lighter. You probably can't tell because, you're not right up on it like I am. I don't think I need to close my eyes because it's such a close thing. They're so close. Glancing down at it's not going to tip me off. Yeah, like in music, you say, "Oh, Fleetwood Mac." Oh, that's corporate music, and people. I say, "Yeah, but it's good." Not all of it. And then every time in Rock and Roll Club, here they come. Oh, I never did like him after Peter Green left. It's like, I'm sorry, I guess the band, what were they supposed to do? Break up because he went insane? Like literally, he went mentally ill, insane, and he quit the band. They didn't ask him to quit. He started the group. Peter Greenbaum started the group. They said he was always a little strange, and then in 1970 he started acting really strange, and then he never performed with them. He did a few shows in 1971, and then he just was off to the Lululand. But then you get people that they were never any good after him. No. That's why Rumors was like one of the top albums of all time, 40 million copies, because nobody liked it. It's like Corona beer. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that stuff. It's terrible. All right. Then you get the beer snob, the music snobs like in Rock and Roll Club, they'll post some group. Here's the Jeff Krapenik's project. Jeff Krapenik's project. It's awesome. It inspires me, and it's all of that. And I'll listen to it. It's good, I guess, it's all right. But they ain't never going to listen to your stuff. They're going to post a 20-minute song, like with a 15-minute guitar solo. And it's like, well, why are you posting these long posts? But you don't listen to anybody else's music because you never comment on it. I know you're not listening to it. If it was like a 3 or 4 minute song, yeah, I mean, that's fair. We'll listen to it. And if we like it, fine. If we don't have to just automatically like it. And then some people get offended, like, why didn't you like it? Well, I mean, I listened to it. It was all right. But the type of people, they insist that you look at their 300 vacation photos. They ain't about to look at any of yours. Didn't a member of Pink Floyd go crazy too? Yeah. Sid Barrett. Pepita chips. Chug it like shoe nice. No thanks. Grigori, double black is pretty good. Thank you. Yeah, Sid Barrett. They said he was always a little peculiar. You know what I mean? Like a little different, strange, a bit strange, And it was the same story with him and Peter Greenbaum. They started fooling around with this LSD, lysergic acid diethylamide, and they had a bad reaction to it. And then their strangeness like grew by leaps and bounds, and then they became non-functioning. They probably would have become that way anyway, but the drug use exasperated it. And in both cases, the band never wanted those guys to quit. They just could not function. You know what I'm saying? They did not function. They could not, and they did not. And the Rolling Stones said the same thing with Brian Jones. They said he didn't do anything. He would just be drunk all the time or high on drugs or just spaced out and couldn't go on tour with that. We couldn't go on tour. And like Keith Richards said, no stranger to drug and alcohol abuse, but he said, he was in bye-bye land. Bye-bye land. Okay, this one's really smoky, and this one over here is not really smoky. There's like a little shade of it, but this one's more like honey in the nose, and this one's more smoky. So I think And I'm almost certain that that's the double black. All right. But it is a taste channel. Wish You Were Here was about him. Yes. Double black is pretty good. Dark Side of the Moon is pretty much about him too. Like going crazy. And The Wall is pretty much about him going crazy. All right. Yeah. See, so this one has the honey, has the peated malt, and the smoke. Honey, peated malt, smoke, generalized whiskey flavor, has all the things working. It's so balanced. So if you like smoke but not too much, there's your Johnnie Walker Red. If you like the honey but not too much of it, Johnnie Walker Red Label. If you like the peated malt but not too much of it, Johnnie Walker Red Label. Everything is in balance. Everything is in concert. It's a symphonic product. It's a philharmonic product. You know what I'm saying? And once again, I don't understand the hostility to it. But I think it's rooted in this whole thing where people do whiskey or beer or wine reviews, and they got to make some kind of like social struggle out of it. Like they're not just reviewing it on its own. You know, like, let me just review this. No, it's some kind of deeper thing. Like we got to win, power to the people, right on, and all of this. Hey, if you want to be some kind of revolutionary and you think you're like Garibaldi or you're like Robespierre, Maximilian Robespierre, that's okay with me until we meet on the battlefield or whatever. But why it's got to be brought into the why does it have to be brought into the reviews is what I'm saying. It's like you can't compartmentalize. You don't have that ability to compartmentalize and objectively look at the product. And I get it. Like the same thing in Rock and Roll Club. They were like, oh, I ain't listening to her music anymore because she says something about somebody on Twitter. I'm like, man, look, if I worried about every statement a rock and roll star said about politics, I wouldn't listen to any of it. Because they're always going on about something, like they're so important, I just detach myself from that. And I can listen to the song in its own, on its own merits. Now, I'm not saying I'm not aware of the other stuff. And if people bring it up, I'll discuss it. But I'll still say, yeah, but the song itself is good. The movie was good. The director's a bad guy, the actor's a bad guy. Okay, this is really smoky. It's the same thing with beer reviews, like, well, I don't like his beer reviews because he's got these certain political beliefs. I'm like, well, why would you care about that? It's like you didn't watch his channel because of his political beliefs. You watch it because you thought and then you even said, oh, he does a great job. You said that. Oh, that was till I found out he believed in whatever, left wing, right wing, center ring. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Tommy, get the heck out of here. It's like, come on. This is very smoky. So the main component here is a kind of medicinal or iodine sea salt, sea spray. I mean, Scotland is part of an island called Great Britain. There's really not a honey thing going on. It's a smoky thing. So if you like smoked meat, smoked meats, smoked a campfire smell, this is going to work. And it's not, but the peatiness, like the compost, like the rotted vegetable, you don't really get that. You get that more in the red label, because the red label, the peatiness shows through over the smokiness because not as smoky. So this is clearly using a lot of Isla. Now, which Isla? Kalila or whatever? Because Diageo owns a lot of single malt distilleries and everything. I don't really know. And Diageo doesn't go into that, like the Johnnie Walker division, because it's kind of like General Motors. Like the division's kind of independent, have their own team, work like a separate company. They don't talk about where they're, Not to, from what I've seen on the website. I never saw them talking about, oh, this uses this much, this much from that distillery, this much from that. They don't really get into that. They just talk about we blend it really well and it comes out great. You know, naturally they're going to say that. Another thing about this is I've read that a lot of liquor company or whiskey companies in Scotland and Tennessee and in Ireland, they'll trade whiskey. What I mean is it might be a Diageo brand, or over here it might be a Chivas brand, Chivas Brothers brand. It might be a Jameson brand, but they might have traded with a competitor. You know, like trading comic books. You say, well, I want that, and they'll buy and sell with each other. You know, it's not really collusion. It's just like what they do. Now, does that happen in the beer world? I don't know. You know, I don't know if beer companies trade. I doubt it. Because then you got a time, the clock's ticking on that. You know, you got to sell it or it starts getting old. So I think it's very unlikely that they're trading in the beer world. Wine could be, but in whiskey, I know I've read so many articles that they do that in the tequila world in Mexico. They say the Mexico NOM number, you know, the NOM number of origin in Mexico. They said that doesn't really mean anything. A lot of people, and they say it's so convoluted. Oh, it comes from this distillery, distillerada, whatever. But they said it only means that the distillery owns the brand. Man, they could have gotten tequila from anybody all around Mexico in a trade, in a blend. So anyway, and I've read articles say even single malt is a little bit deceptive. Like people get all geared up on single malt. They said don't get too. It may not be as purified as you think. I mean, it's a single barley malt. We're not saying that. It's not like they're lying and adding grain whiskey. No. It's single barley malt whiskey. But you might want to check the exceptions to the rule as much as the rule. Anyway, the double black's a lot better. Okay, let's look at the comments. I mean, the red label's fine. It's got that little caramel and sugar taste and honey and all that. It's fine. But the double black is a lot better. It better be better. It's twice the price. At a minimum, twice the price. So 24 times 2 is 40. Well, yeah, about twice the price. But not more than that. But it's twice as good, so it makes sense. Double black is pretty good. It is. It really is. Wish you were here was about him. Yes. Good morning, Ron, says B Aviation. Okay. So as expected. I was talking about, we talking about all these exceptions to the rule. I was reading about flavored bourbon. You say, oh no, that's illegal. Oh no, can't have flavored bourbon. Well, just joined. Is there an estimate on the age of the double black? They got different theories out there, but the company gives no official number, so I'm not going to even talk about it because they don't even say. Now, some of these companies, they'll have a website, and if you start reading deep into the website, it'll say, oh, this tomatin is between 5 and 7 years. It'll say that in the text. So you know it's no younger than 5, no older than 7. So it's around 6. Or maybe the company will make a YouTube video and they'll tell you how old it is in the video. But the bottle itself does not have an age statement. But Johnnie Walker doesn't even do that. They don't even say, well, the double black is around this, unless I missed something. You understand? I could have overlooked because the website is so dense with text. You kind of need a lot of time and you might overlook it. You know what I mean? But I know the Johnnie Walker Red Label is aged 3 years because it says it on the bottle. Now with Jameson, it's deceptive because their whiskeys will say this is at least 3 years old. So you say, oh, that's a 3-year-old whiskey. But then you look at the website and it'll say, oh, this one's 4 years old. This one's 8 years old. Yeah, well, 8 years is at least 3. It's 5 more than 3. 4 years old. Yeah, it's a year more than 3. So I don't know why they put that on the bottle. I don't know why they don't just put 8 years old on the bottle for like the Jameson. I mean, not Jameson. What am I saying? Black Bushmills. Yeah, that's the one. Bushmills. All their bottles say this is at least 3 years old. But then you look on their website, it says Black Bush is age 8 years. Red Bush is age 4 years. The original, the white label, is age 5 years. It tells you right on the website. So I don't know why they don't put that on the bottle. But I don't run the company, and there's got to be a reason. Or they just didn't think of it. No, come on. I'm sure they thought of age a minimum of 3 years. A minimum of 3 years. So could it be older than 3? Well, yeah, it could be older than 3 because they say the minimum is 3. The youngest whiskey in here is 3 years old. Could they have older whiskeys? Most of these blends do. They might have whiskeys in there that's 10 years old, but they can't get credit for it. You don't get credit for it. You don't get credit. You only get credit for the youngest whiskey. True story. Okay. B Aviation in the house. All right. Well, I got to go. Go gadget. I got to go watch the news. I got to go watch the lies. Now, Tuesday morning, the plan is to do Johnnie Walker Double Black versus the Gold Label Reserve. Won't be a challenge because the Gold Label Reserve tastes like honey and the Double Black tastes like smoke. But I'm going to do it anyway just because I want to do everybody versus everybody, a total round robin tournament. But it won't be a challenge. And that'll be a personal preference thing. The Gold Label Reserve is probably $10, $15 more per bottle. I don't think it's worth more personally, but you might rather drink a honey flavor, not flavored with honey. What I mean is it tastes like honey. It's not flavored. Versus one that's very smoky. I prefer the smoky, but that's a personal preference issue. It's not a quality control issue. I was saying about the bourbon. If you look at the Tax and Trade Bureau website, which I was looking at yesterday, it very clearly says you cannot have flavors added to bourbon or coloring. But yet, I have seen a number of bourbons, one of which I bought in Houston, Texas on Thursday. I've seen a number of bourbons that have flavoring added. It says bourbon with natural flavor, with natural flavors. That's what I say, bourbon with natural flavors. You say, oh, but that's not flavored bourbon. That's not flavored bourbon. It's bourbon with natural flavors. Okay. It's the same thing. All right. Thanks for watching this video production.